a huge fan of your work. August Osage County, Masters of Sex, Mayor of
Thank,
Easttown. I love your work. And of course, Paradise.
thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I'm wondering, when you're traveling, is there a show that people stop or like a movie stop you on the street and ask you about?
It's so funny. I was just talking about that with someone. I don't have one thing that most people think they know me from their life.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's usually like, oh, didn't I buy Siamese cats from you? Or, oh, did you babysit my daughter in 1993? Um, but I would say I have got more for Paradise a little bit. Um, but I guess that's just because it's the most recent. So it's the most in the front of people's minds and the front of their memories.
And also now ABC is starting to air it.
I
So
know.
that's gonna be exciting. A lot of
I,
exposure.
I I know. I love that it's on ABC and it doesn't have to be, the extra fees every month that those it's not just those people that get to watch it. I'm delighted.
And when I was researching this, I didn't know that you and James Marsden worked together forever ago.
Yes.
So how was it re
Are you probably too young for Ally McBeal?
I love that you think that.
I God, so yeah, we did Ally McBeal in 2001. I had lived in New York from 1990 to 2001. I was there for 12 years, and I told my manager, like, I think I'd like to go to LA. I've never been to LA, but I want to go with a job. And then it just so happened David E. Kelly said, I'd love to meet Julianne, flew out there, and they offered me to be a part of that fifth season of Ally McBeal. And so it was me, James, Regina Hall, and Josh Hopkins all started at the same time. So
Wow.
we were like a little crew because it was a little intimidating to join that party. Though they were all actually very welcoming but it was a blast. I never laughed so hard on a show. Ruining takes, just like pinching your nose when you're off camera, trying not to blow it for Peter McNichol, who's just one of the funniest people alive. That was a joy. And I loved being reunited with James. It was so fun. I think he's such a talent, such a good guy, and yeah, one of the funniest people I've ever known. So it was uh pure joy to be reunited.
Well, was he taking any song requests on Paradise? Because he has some
He's
pretty
got an
cool.
incredible voice. Well, I didn't hear him singing so much on Paradise, but I remember it was when like he was doing a lot of in sync Justin Timberlake because when we were doing Ally McBeal, just to like give you the cultural references
Oh,
of the time.
I was an NSYNC girly.
Yeah. So what was the last one? That last album of the well, it
Oh,
was 2001.
Celebrity or something like that. Yeah, the Celebrity album.
I don't know. Maybe it was the one before that. Anyway, he's got a great voice and it's always fun when he pulls it out.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
if I interview him, I'm going to request some, Justin Timberlake.
He can deliver. I mean, he's got it. He's got the goods.
And for your career, I have to say, I've always cried, watching your characters navigate like different trials and tribulations. I have to say, like Sinatra as a character, she has her own hurdles and losses, obviously, but she's a huge departure.
Yeah, I thought so too. That was one of the things that excited me about her. Playing someone who has such a presence in every room that she enters, and even though she's sort of behind the scenes, how she's just I love playing a boss, actually. Turns out. Yeah. But one who is not just that. I feel like Dan did such a good job of writing this complicated, layered character. And it was really fun to step into her shoes.
I mean, she is very complex. She's not, twirling a mustache on camera, but
Not far off. Um, no, but that's what I love when I first talked to Dan about her. He was like, she can come across like that on the page, but there's much more going on there than also that we even first know. And I'm so excited to go back for the second season and sort of dig even deeper into her past and the things that she had to do to get Paradise even made. built. Uh, and there's much more going on than I think I was even aware of in the first season.
I can't wait. I mean, when I was watching the show, I was like, you know what? Given the political moment that we're in right now, I can totally see a reality in which this happens, unfortunately.
I
Were you
know.
thinking
Well, we finished filming in July, and so like, how is it even possible that Sinatra's this character? She doesn't even have. She's not an elected politician. Like she has no business being in those rooms. Like how is that even? How are people even going to buy that? So yeah, a little too close to home.
a little bit, but were you thinking not so much of political figures, but just figures that, saw power in a way of, control when you were reading the scripts or
I didn't really look at it like that, but I did do some exploring of female CEOs and females who run Fortune 500 companies, and there's so many different paths to that ultimate position, and that was really interesting. I feel like we have in our minds that there's sort of you come from a privileged background, and then you go to this school, and then you get that job, and that's not always the case, especially for women. They have to be much more creative to get there, and that was fun to explore.
I mean, the thing that I really like about her too is that she's very strong in her convictions. Like she truly believes the choices that she's making are for the greater good, that she's protecting everyone in this underground city.
That's right. Thank you, Nikki. Not everybody is as generous with her. I have had quite a few people come up and with big smiles on their face tell me how much they hate me. So that's been a new one.
Well, she's nuanced, and that's the whole thing about playing complex characters. It's like there's stuff to unpack.
Yeah, I know. That's what I think too. And yeah, it's always also, trying to go into all those scenes without any expectation of what's gonna happen or how she's gonna react. And then it's fun to see just what happens, especially when when you've got such great actors to work with.
And also, like her origin story, when you think about it, is grief. Like she lost a child. And I was wondering, we see that trajectory evolve, and I'm wondering if when you were developing how she would walk or move through the world, were you thinking of like how that grief affects her on a cellular level in that way?
I didn't think so much of how it was going to manifest physically, but I did think that it altered her like DNA. Like that grief, she was not equipped to deal with a blow of that size, of that magnitude. And she's never gonna heal. Like it's just she's doing the best that she can. It's kind of like a shark. Like you just have to keep swimming. Do you know what I mean? Like if she stops, then it will all come crashing down. And so that every interaction, every word spoken is filtered through that experience.
Yeah, I mean, that episode where we got that backstory and just, seeing how things were touch and go with her son and then ultimately, succumbing. That was a riveting performance, by you. I'm
Thank
wondering, for you, how was it to unpack that? Was it that the episode you were waiting to film? Was that something that you were like eye on the prize in terms of what you were thinking about?
I love that that was the second episode. I read the first episode and was already intrigued. Like, um, I thought the energy was incredible. I knew the other actors involved. I knew, I'm a big fan of Dan's. And then that twist at the end of the first episode, I was like, huh, okay, something else is happening here. I'm intrigued. And then to go right to the second episode, which was Sinatra's story, I was like that, like, so let's just say I swallowed the hook with that second episode. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing the show. I just thought it was such a beautiful and heartbreaking exploration of this woman's life. I love that you see where she starts and where she is now. And I think Dan is so smart to put that story at the beginning of the series for the audience to have a little bit more understanding of where she's coming from. They don't have to agree with her, But it's just like, okay, just a little bit more information than you might get otherwise. And it was very helpful for me too as an actor to have that backstory. I mean, normally we're like creating it for ourselves and maybe it's even a little vague and but to have the gift of knowing that and filming those scenes was hugely informative to everything that comes after. Because just nothing is as, important now than like keeping her the rest of her family alive.
Yeah. And I mean, in those later episodes, she does have that reckoning. She is self-aware to say, like, am I a monster? I'm paraphrasing. And I'm wondering, and of course, we just talked about people coming up to you and saying, like, what is with this character? Um, but
They
for
people could not handle Uncle Billy being killed. People cannot.
yeah, people have feelings about that character dying for sure.
I know, I know, which I love. It's so sweet, and they're right because he's the best.
Obviously, you don't think she's a monster, but like you reserve your judgment in terms of like this character.
Yeah, I mean, I can't afford to think of her in those terms, but I feel like, as you say, like she feels like she is 100% making the right choices that she needs to for her family, but also the greater good. Like I feel like she does not feel this feels does not feel like selfish decision making to her. She thinks she's doing the best for everybody.
And I'm happy to see that she survives for season two. I I I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do with this character. She's on a ventilator. Like, what is going to happen?
Yes, Dan has assured me I will not be in a hospital bed for the whole of the season, so I'm delighted to hear that.
Well, in that, how do you think she gains control, or you just leaving it up to Dan?
Yeah. Well, he had, when last year, before we even started filming, as far as I know, he has like a 3 season arc in
Mm.
his mind of what happens here. Um, and maybe that gets sort of massaged in one direction or another with like seeing how people respond to the storyline and characters, but I think he is pretty clear about what the story is overall. So yeah, I can't wait to see and start, get out there and start doing it again. I've only read a few of the episodes of the next season, so um I'm in the dark too.
Is there any kind of interaction that you hope she has, or
Ooh. It's so hard to imagine even who that could be when you think about the world of paradise. I mean, I already know everyone who's in there. I just want to go dig more deeply into who she is and how what she had to do to get paradise made.
and I hope she keeps the we, by the way. I hope she keeps it.
Should she get one for Jane is the question.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. We'll just, yeah, we'll see what happens with Jane, see if she deserves it by the end of the season.
Before I wrap, I need to know, because I've seen you in like a myriad of things. Are you interested in doing a comedy anytime soon? I would love to see
Yes.
you in a comedy.
So, I'm on the new season of Hacks.
Okay. And
Yes. I have, which is, I do 3 episodes. And I was so delighted to be asked to do something funny, and I would love to do more comedy. It was so great because Ally McBeal was hilarious. And I would love to have more opportunities to not have to, to rip my heart out of my body to go to when I go to work.
I'm gonna manifest it for you. I guess.
Thank you. You and me both. Maybe yes, having the extra help might work. Thank you.
Well,
Very
Julianne, it
generous.
was a pleasure. I remember seeing you at the press conference in New York for August Osage County. I'm like, I hope I see this actress in everything.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you have
Well,
a,
so your manifesting is working. So thank you. Keep it up.
I'll try.